An otherwise Christmas cheer dampened a little with the new COVID restrictions. The New Year's cheer across the states will have to see some curbs as well. The Maharashtra government, for one, has issued new guidelines amid the Omicron surge, which means, take a look at this. Gathering of more than 5 persons in public places across the state is prohibited from 9 to 6 a.m. 50% capacity for gyms and also night curfew returning in areas like Uttar Pradesh from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Maharashtra specifically is leading with these curbs right now. What about other states? Now remember, one by one, there are states that have continued to bring in specific restrictions. For example, Uttar Pradesh, that is now leading with the night curfew. Here you're looking at all the 5 states with restriction COVID curves being extended till 31st December in national capital Delhi. What you're looking at is the national capital, where now ban will continue on social and cultural gatherings. And also importantly, this means 50% seating capacity allows in bars and restaurants. All right, let's take a look at other states as well, because while no parties at 200 guests will be the limit for Delhi weddings, even NCR is not far behind. Haryana and Madhya Pradesh also have imposed the night curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. and Gujarat has announced extending the night curfew as well. What you're looking at is currently the map of the country with reporting significant number of cases every day. Now, it has been 5 days since the hateful Dharam Sansad in Haridwar in the hill state. There have been no arrests yet made over the communal remarks that literally called for violence against minorities. The seers who called for a Hindu Rashtra continue to remain defiant, and in a latest development, that event has been called in Chhattisgarh's capital Raipur. Swami Prabodhanand Giri, who called for arms at Haridwar, will also be attending the Raipur meeting. The event was organized by one Yati Narsimhanand. He's a religious leader who is primarily now facing accusations of inciting violence with the hate speech in the past as well. Now, this event of Dharam Sansad has evoked outrage after the attendees were caught on camera calling to make India a Hindu nation. Though some of the organizers even made religious leaders pledge to work on a plan to counter the jihad and also increase Hindu population. But what's shocking is, despite all of this caught on camera, there have been no arrests in this case. No action against seers who are on camera issuing violent threats, specifically against a community.
A call to arms. Self-styled religious leaders take an oath to create Hindu Rashtra. Four days later, Uttarakhand police file an FIR. But the seers remain defiant. The spiritual leaders who gave speeches calling for violence against a community and at times even genocide at a 3-day Dharam Sansad in Haridwar between December 17th and 19th are refusing to budge. When India Today confronted these religious leaders, they claimed theirs was a call to self-defense.
हमने अपनी तरफ से कुछ नहीं कहा। हमने तो ये कहा, हमारे सनातन धर्म, हमारे सनातन संस्कृति की परंपरा है कि हर देवी देवता पर अस्त्र है और अस्त्र की पूजा है तभी देवता की पूजा है। तो हर हिंदू को अपनी सुरक्षा के लिए शस्त्र लेकर खड़े रहना चाहिए।
सैकड़ों की संख्या महामंडलों से थे और साधु थे, सैकड़ों की संख्या में, हजारों की संख्या में लोग, जनता थे, सनातन धर्म के मानने वाले लोग थे जो धर्म के लिए कार्य करना चाहते हैं। चर्चा केवल आत्मरक्षा के लिए धर्म रक्षा की चर्चा हो रही थी हमारे यहाँ।
What comes as a mystery is that police FIR on the event names only one person, Wasim Rizvi, alias Jitendra Tyagi, who recently converted from Islam to Hinduism. The sections invoked against him are bailable charges.
वहाँ पे उन्होंने आकर एक धर्म विशेष के खिलाफ इतनी आपत्तिजनक और भड़काऊ बयानबाजी की कि मैं आपको इसमें नहीं बता सकता। और उन्होंने यहाँ तक प्रभुरानंद जी ने तो यहाँ तक कहा कि इनको म्यांमार की तर्ज पर यहाँ पे मुसलमानों का सफाया किया जाए और बहुत ज़्यादा भड़काने का उन्होंने प्रयास किया। इसलिए हमें सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से ज्ञात हुआ था।
Event organizer Yati Narsinghanand Giri, who has been caught in hate speech controversies earlier, is not booked.
धर्म और धर्म पे जो सनातन धर्म पे खतरे हैं उन पे चर्चा हो रही थी, और सनातन धर्म का सबसे बड़ा खतरा है इस्लाम का जिहाद, और केवल हमारा खतरा नहीं है, पूरी दुनिया का सबसे बड़ा खतरा है। हम उस पर चर्चा करें तो और आगे भी करेंगे।
BJP leader Ashwini Upadhyay, who attended the meet, has distanced himself from the event.
हमने वहां जाके केवल इतना कहा था कि ये 20% संविधान बचा हुआ है, इसको लागू करना नितांत आवश्यक है। अब हिंदी का संविधान बांटना अगर अपराध है तब तो मैं अपराधी हूं, अगर संविधान के बारे में बताना अपराध है फिर तो मैं अपराधी हूं।
The police say the probe is on and the culprits will be punished.
जो हमारे पास कंप्लेंट आई है उसमें उसको जो कंप्लेंट करता है उसको हो सकता है औरों के नाम नहीं मालूम हो। हमारी विवेचना में सभी शामिल हैं, सबसे बात की जाएगी, सबके बयान लिए जाएंगे, हर कोई हमारी विवेचना में शामिल है।
Despite the massive uproar against poisonous hate speeches given during the event, shockingly, political parties of all shades have been muted in their criticism of hate speech. Only a few leaders have posted tweets condemning the calls for violence made by the seers.
4 days after the controversial Dharm Sansad, no arrests have been made by the police so far, even as the Dharm Gurus remain defiant. The police has only booked Wasim Rizvi, who was one of the attendees of the Dharm Sansad under sections 153A of the IPC for hateful speech. For India Today, this is Mohit Sharma with video journalist Pradeep Gupta.
Meanwhile, a stunning new twist in the Bollywood con scandal investigations. The Enforcement Directorate, while probing the con man Chandrasekhar and his alleged links with the actresses Jacqueline Fernandez and Nora Fatehi came to the fore, there were a lot of other names that are also surfacing now. Now, the agencies are cross-checking facts. They are in the process of calling, at least according to our sources, 5 other actresses in the film industry for further questioning. Here's a news report on this absolutely bizarre and shocking case of this super chore. Take a look.
A sensational new twist in the stunning saga of con man Sukesh Chandrasekhar and his over 200 crore money heist. It has now emerged that it's not just Jacqueline Fernandez and Nora Fatehi, but at least 5 more Bollywood actresses could have fallen prey to Sukesh's swindle. These actors in question allegedly received gifts from Sukesh, just like Nora and Jacqueline. Some of them are said to have been in constant touch with him, either directly or indirectly. These actresses could be summoned by the ED soon and are likely to be treated as witnesses in the 215 crore extortion case. With names of more actresses coming before the probe agencies, it seems Sukesh had a fixed modus operandi to lure them with the bling and larger-than-life dreams. One thing is clear, the probe into this 200 crore scandal is only getting bigger. With Munish Pandey, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at some sports news. Despite the threat of the Omicron variant, Team India are all set to lock horns with South Africa at the Centurion starting December 26. While India's improvement as a touring side in recent times gives them the edge over a relatively inexperienced South African side, but remember, they cannot exactly afford to take the Proteas lightly. Here's what you can expect from the big test series that starts on Sunday.
South Africa, the final frontier. A place where India have never won a test series. In fact, India have toured South Africa 7 times post the African nation's readmission to cricket, and only once in 2010-11 India managed to draw a test series, losing the other 6 times. But now lies India's best chance of changing that poor record.
I think having done well in England and Australia will make a big difference in this squad's confidence and self-belief that we can win overseas, we can win in any condition. And with our bowling and batting lineup, I'm very confident that we have the capacity to win a series in South Africa.
Virat Kohli's men have become a better touring side in the past few years, highlighted by the fact that they have now won the last 2 test series in Australia. In addition, they were 2-1 ahead in their test series in England when the last match was postponed. While India will miss the services of Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja in the test series, Virat Kohli's men will still back themselves to do the job. However, it remains to be seen whether India will play 4 or 5 bowlers. While Shreyas Iyer remains the favourite for the number 5 spot, India have both Ajinkya Rahane and Hanuma Vihari available as well. The last time India toured South Africa, Hashim Amla, AB de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, Dale Steyn, Morne Morkel and Vernon Philander all turned up for the hosts, but now none from the old guard are around. In addition, India's bowling attack looks much sharper with South Africa losing fast bowler Anrich Nortje to an injury a few days ago. Virat Kohli's side are the top-ranked team in the world and they will surely fancy their chances owing to their away form in the past couple of years. Team India though can't afford to be complacent, for they'll remember how they failed to win back in 2018 too. A historic series awaits. Sports Bureau, India Today.
But it was the news about former Indian spinner and India's 4th highest wicket taker in Tests, Terminator Harbhajan Singh, announcing his retirement from all forms of cricket. Harbhajan Singh, popularly known as Bhajji for many, whose spin bowling partnership with Anil Kumble, remember, had dominated oppositions for a number of years, is the 2nd highest all-time wicket taker for India with 711 wickets.
I've been fighting with this thought of retiring for some years now, but the love for this game delayed my decision.
End of an era. World Cup winner and Indian legend Harbhajan Singh has announced his retirement from all forms of cricket. Having made his debut in 1998, Harbhajan was an integral member of the Indian side for a number of years. His international career spanned almost 18 years and he last represented the men in blue in the Asia Cup back in 2016.
Another dot ball.
Having featured for India across all 3 formats, Harbhajan has played over 100 test matches and over 200 ODIs. Nicknamed Bhajji, he went on to pick 417 test wickets and 269 ODI scalps during his long career. Harbhajan was also no muck with the bat. His aggressive hitting style made him a fan favourite in the lower order. In fact, Bhajji has 200s and 950s to his name in the longest format.
What a feeling in the dressing room.
His personal rivalry against the Aussie brought him the highest and lowest points in his career.
The first Indian ever to take a hat-trick in Test match cricket.
His career-defining moment came in the famous and unforgettable 2001 series at home, where he was adjudged Player of the Series for picking up 32 wickets. He continued to dominate the Aussies during his career, finishing with 95 wickets in the longest format against them.
Out first ball.
In 2008, his on-field confrontation with Andrew Symonds created one of the ugliest controversies the game has ever seen. He was first charged with racial abuse before his punishment was reduced in the subsequent appeal. That very year, Harbhajan was banned for the remainder of the IPL season for slapping his Indian teammate S. Sreesanth. While his combativeness proved costly at times, Harbhajan's fierce competitiveness made him a dangerous opponent, one who was always up for the challenge. He was part of India's World Cup winning team that won the 2007 T20 World Cup and the 2011 ODI World Cup. In addition, Bhaji also won 4 IPL titles, 3 with the Mumbai Indians in 2013, 2015 and 2017 and 1 with the Chennai Super Kings in their comeback season in 2018. While Harbhajan's retirement came as a surprise for many, the Offie provided the reason why he made the announcement official.
I've been fighting with this thought of retiring for some years now, but the love for this game delayed my decision. I would have made this announcement earlier, but I wanted to honor my commitment with KKR. Just like any cricketer, I also had a wish to retire in Indian colours, but you don't always get what you wish for.
It may be the end of the road for Bhaji as an active cricketer. The 41-year-old still has a lot to offer to Indian cricket going forward. Sports Bureau, India Today.
And I'm sure I speak for the team members and also for all the fans of cricket. Thank you, Bhaji, for all the memorable victories and all those events that you've been part of. It's a wrap now for this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. You can always log on to indiatoday.in and download the application.